Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
You know,
at your
isolate it,
tables, you need to make
quarantine
sure
a
everything
virus.
is as clean and
You
put
know, you
away
don't
as possible.
Wipe it all out.
Like your
That
geometric
was the
shapes,
easy
you can put under
way
your
to do it
desk,
for
put your
them.
drinks
Just
under your
wipe it all
desk.
out.
Anything that's not essential, put away. And if you have phones or iPads or anything electronic, you may want to put that away right now too, because we're going to be using water.
Yes.
So should we put our notebooks away also?
No, you're gonna be writing. So open up your science journals real quick, please. And on your tray of supplies, you have a Ziploc bag.
And then they found out later.
This Ziploc bag contains 3
Just,
different objects.
and that was it.
You can go ahead and take these out. Now, all right, we're gonna, listen please, we're gonna observe these shapes, these 3 objects. First, where's my clicker? These are close equal volumes, okay?
Hang on, can we, what shape is this? Yes, ma'am?
A rectangular prism or a square prism, depending on your choice of size or base.
Okay, so
No,
can the 2 sides that my fingers are touching be considered the bases? And I don't want you to answer, Melissa.
No,
Why not?
because the bases are 2 that are parallel and congruent.
So the 2 sides that my fingers are touching are not parallel or congruent.
They are, but they also have 2 arms. They're different than the
So they can't be different.
2 surfaces that are different shapes.
They're both rectangular. Brenna?
I would say that they can be, because on the definition for the prism, it just has to have 2 parallel and congruent sides as bases, which
Right.
could count as these 2 or these 2, correct?
So these 2 things that my fingers are touching can be considered the bases
If they're parallel and congruent.
because they are parallel and congruent. So that would make this what type of prism? And we were just talking about this, Michelle. What type? I'm sorry, my names are wrong, but you. Rectangular prism, because the bases that I have chosen to be the bases are rectangular. Now, can these 2 also be considered bases? I'm going to come over here, Johnny.
Yes,
Yes, how do you know?
because they're also congruent and parallel.
Parallel and congruent, that's all it takes. And they happen to be what shape? They're square, so that would make this, we could call this what kind of prism? A square prism. And squares are also rectangles, so that doesn't really matter. I'm sorry, I had to get that out of my system.
I love it. I like your system. Okay, we have 3 of these.
Prism.
Okay, 3 rectangular prisms made of 3 different surfaces, roughly the same volume. Roughly, very roughly.
So they're about the same length, width, and height. Yeah.
Okay. I want you to write, well, first, observe these 3 different objects. You have a Ziploc with them on your table, share them, pass them around. Silently think about how you want to describe these. Think about how you want to describe these with your 4 senses, leaving out the sense of taste. And describe this in your science journal.
Everybody knows this.
Everybody.
So you put the marble ahead of time.
And as always, we are going to write and complete sentences.
Right song.
No, not the 3 shapes, those 3 objects that are shaped as rectangular prisms.
The split in your tongue.
What grade does she teach?
middle skating frame. Well, nowadays you could think, yeah, especially now.
Yes.
I have a question.
Well, you know what? It's hard being an adult. It's hard being a scientist, but we are scientists. And scientists write and complete sentences.
Oh, yes, in the interest of time and writing complete sentences,
And right now, you're a scientist.
divide up the duties of the observations?
I'm sorry?
Could we divide up the duties of observations, like we're gonna do wood and share our observations and they share?
I would rather you do them,
Everybody.
yes, please. Because, and that's a really good question, Ashley. But a lot of this observation might be, this object is less something than the other one, so they're comparisons. Elementary? Sedimentary is a word, yes. What is that word that we used last summer that meant particles that made up rocks? It starts with a C. It's not conglomerate. But a conglomerate is one of these types of rocks. A sandstone is one of these types of rocks. Starts with a C. The next letter is L. What'd you say, Johnny? Clastic, yes.
I was gonna say, you can come over. I don't have that compulsion.
I'll give you one. I'm sorry. You want one too? All right. Now, I want to introduce you to a little graphic organizer tool that I like to use a lot. It's called the box and T chart. And here's where what it looks like. There's a box, and there's a T. It's crazy. So this is something you can use, and you may need to add another branch to your T, or make it a wider box. You have three objects that you're comparing. In the box, you write the similarities. In the T part, you're writing the differences.
That's okay.
This is math and science.
I can't see this close anymore.
It's a proximity issue with teachers. She knew exactly what she was doing. Up here.
So after you write your descriptions, you may want to summarize them again with a graphic organizer. Or you may just want to use the graphic organizer in the first place.
Yes, that's on your
It is an actual rock. Yes. What kind of rock is it?
If
students were asking what these were called, would you tell them?
Yes, yes.
You would have said that this is the styrofoam,
Yes.
this is wood, this is.
Yes, and you know, that's a good question. So when we're doing our box and T chart, if I were doing mine, I would say the styrofoam, the wood, and what's the last one? Marble.
Can I say something about the marble?
Please.
A friend of mine is a really good tile guy, and I got him to cut that marble for free. But I have his card if anybody needs any tile work. Free plug, I tell him I give him a free plug.
Really dry to use.
He's really good and very affordable.
He makes beautiful cuts.
He was very gracious. He was right away.
Willie John. Thank you.
Yeah, for the right job, he would. He's a great guy, really. He's King graduate. Robles, I don't know if you know him.
Okay, so how do you think we could use this box and T chart?
What's the,
B?
you can, probably say, you can list your sentences on the left side down vertically, and then you can use your T-chart that way, so you can answer
Okay. So you're saying that you could,
more attributes of the.
okay, so you could list the sentences down on the side, maybe over here, so that you're making sure that you're covering everything. Okay? Yes, ma'am?
A lot of times we'll use Venn diagrams for things.
Mm-hmm.
And I would use this, some students see a Venn diagram and it's too chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And this gives a more structure.
I'm one of those people. This makes sense to me. Yeah.
Or I would use it to introduce a more complicated Venn diagram and show this first and then show them a 3-circle Venn diagram and how that works.
Is it too abstract to do what she said with the, the descriptions and then put X's and, or nothing? Is that too abstract? You put X's, their checks or something?
You know, if that works for you, okay, but this is a segue into writing our observations in sentences. So, I mean, I would use this and have them write down. I would write everything down. Okay, now we're going to turn this into a paragraph, okay? And all this is a tool, and you turn your notes on your diagram into sentences. So you could say, all of these blocks are the same shape. They're all this. They're all solids. What else can we say? Similarities. Ashley.
Volume.
They're all the same volume. Okay. Shayna. Shayna. Am I reading this right, Craig? Shayna? There is no Shayna. Shayna's fired. Tim. What other similarities do they have?
Shape, solid, volume, size.
Okay, they're all the same size. B, are there any more similarities you'd like to add?
They have bases.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to add a similarity?
Three-dimensional.
They're all solid. Okay. All right. Now their differences. Can y'all see that? Okay. Their differences. Martin, would you mind writing up here on those differences as we call them out? Thank you. Yeah. Tamara, what is a difference or a description of styrofoam that is different from the others?
Styrofoam is less dense.
Do you know that?
Huh?
Are we students or are we adults?
Yeah, we teachers are.
Well, you're adult students.
I mean, I'm.
I hope.
We
We know that.
Okay.
We know that.
You do know that, so you calculated it?
The mass is,
What did you observe?
It weighs the least.
Which is it has less,
Mass.
okay. Thank you.
Well,
Yes,
when she said it's less dense, you asked her, did you measure it? Well, she didn't measure the weight, so how did you let her get off on that one?
because she compared it to the other two objects.
Okay.
Okay. Brenna, is there another difference that you'd like to add with the styrofoam compared to the others?
it doesn't have as smooth of a surface.
Okay, a rough surface.
I'm gonna say the least mass.
Melissa, did you have one you would like to?
Because you can say wood has less mass than marble.
Yeah, that's a good. So would you say, Tamara, that the styrofoam had the least mass?
Yes.
Okay, that's a very good distinction to make. Okay, Craig, another styrofoam observation.
Softer than the softest squishy.
Okay, so what do you mean soft? Like silk soft or
With my fingernail.
squishy soft?
Hardness soft.
Okay, brittle? What do you mean? Okay, guys, listen up, please. What do you mean by soft?
I can change its form with pressure.
Okay, what is that word that we use in geology that talks about changing the form with pressure? Yes, and why don't you change that I to an E? 2 L's? A-B-L-E.
EA.
Math.
You had it right.
E-A. EA, there you go. Okay, Margaret, can you add one more observation? Dang it. Six are done. Elizabeth, did you have something to add?
It's not valuable, it would be brittle, because you can't easily flatten it or break it in half.
Yeah, I thought malleable was a little bit.
It's not, that's how we're malleable. Right.
Okay,
It would be brittle.
but he's saying that he squished it.
Yeah, so it's soft.
So malleable's like, isn't it like,
It's malleable then.
Okay,
It's more malleable.
go like flat to curved? I mean, isn't that malleable? When it would break.
okay, hang on.
Thank you. Tested it.
Okay, Tamara, what property did you observe?
It's not malleable.
It's malleability.
So it's not ductile?
It is
Okay.
breakable.
Yes.
That's so malleable that.
Maybe that's.
So how are we gonna describe it? I need one person to raise your hand and describe it. Quentin, you're hired.
Oh, the whole thing? I was just gonna
No,
say
the-
white is.
Yes.
Change the subject.
Okay, maybe we can say brittle. Okay, brittle. All right. Let's move on to the wood. Grab the wood, somebody hold up the wood so we know what we're looking at. And Maura, would you please tell me one of the things that distinguishes the wood?
The wood is rough.
It's rough, okay. Catherine, what's another one?
I said it had a little bit more mass than the styrofoam.
Okay, good. More mass in the styrofoam. Denise?
I said it was splintery. Splintery.
Splintery, okay, good. Jennifer?
It's striated.
Striated, it has striations. Good. Okay, Quentin, would you have something else that you added, some blatant observation that we missed last time? Would you like to add the same type of observation this time?
Well, besides the color, brown cherry broke for me, thank you.
Oh, good,
wise, when I compared it to the styrofoam and the stone, it was the middle mass, so I wouldn't know how, I just wrote the middle mass.
Okay, so the wood's mass is intermediate between the marble and the styrofoam?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what does that mean for the marble then? What can we write for the mass of the marble?
The most mass.
Most mass of the marble. Okay, let's move on to the marble. Johnny, what's an observation you made of the marble?
It's the heaviest, that has the most. Well.
Another observation you made of the marble.
Oh, gosh, that's not paying attention.
It smells funny. Good. Okay. Has an earthy smell. That's great. Kim?
It's smooth.
Smooth. Very good. Okay, and last one. Teresa. It's kind of speckled.
Very good.
Plastic. Okay. Is it plastic? Hey, that's good. I'm glad you're trying to apply that. Teresa, but you're talking about the color is different?
Yeah, like you can see the particles circle and the sponge.
Okay.
Pink.
So it's maybe crystalline, mineralized. Okay. So do you see how? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to point out when y'all were talking about the similarities, you said they were all the same size, but then you went into talking about the mass, and they have different masses, which is a measurement of size. So
Well, you're right, exactly. So when we're talking about, we said that they were the same size, but then we elaborated on that. They are the same shape, yes. So we're talking about a three-dimensional structure, and they're all the same rectangular prism. They have the same dimensions, the same volume. Okay, so how can we use that to write up our observations? And we put a lot of information. So when we're writing observations, this is step one. Step two is to actually write the observations. So when we're doing that, you start with the similarities, and then you finish with those differences. Yes?
Would you compare, like, for instance, we talked about color and every one of them pretty much, or the way it looked, would you compare those in a statement, so to say, and then go to, like, you know, the mass, and then whatever, or would you just say graded or whatever y'all called it, was this, marble was this?